Hello, Joshua. This is Metal Gear Solid. It's been a while since I posted a video, and Ark Survival Ascended keeps crashing on me, so I figured I'd play a game that I've loved. I've been watching someone else play Metal Gear Solid, and it's made me want to play through Metal Gear Solid, and I don't want that. But anyway, so there's a bit to this game. Let me go through specials. So there are little segments that, these are recaps of the first two Metal Gear games to lead you into Metal Gear Solid. What I'm going to do, and you can kind of skip through this if you want, but I'm going to just read through the previous, and you can either listen to me read it, or you can pause it, read it yourself, and then fast forward a little bit to get to the next page, and then you don't have to listen to me if you don't want to. I'm sure my reading skills are not great, but I will attempt. But yeah. And I will take my headphones off for that because I speak better when I can hear myself. Anyway, so yeah, Metal Gear, the game that started it all. The game that Hideo Kojima made and then walked away from. Konami wanted to make another one, and so they made Metal Gear 2 Snake's Revenge, and it was so awful. One of the guys at Konami who was friends with Hideo Kojima sent him a message and got in contact with him and said, "Hey man, you need to make a proper sequel for this. You need to make a proper sequel for this. This Konami messed up. They did a horrible job. You need to come back and make a proper sequel." So he came back and made a proper sequel and made Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. But yeah, and then that eventually led to Metal Gear Solid. I think these two came out in like maybe the late 80s, early 90s ish. I don't fully remember. And then Metal Gear Solid came out in 98. But anyway, the year 1995, deep in South Africa, 200 kilometers north of Garsbug. I'm sure I ruined that. But anyway, Outer Heaven, an army fortress nation established by the legendary mercenary who was feared in combat by both his friends and foes as a hero and lunatic. The Western nations have found out that a weapon of mass destruction that could rewrite war history is under development in Outer Heaven. They have called upon the high-tech special force unit Foxhound to take care of the situation. In response to this order, Big Boss, Commander-in-Chief of Foxhound, sent Gray Fox, the man with the codename Fox, which is given to the best member of the unit. Operation Intrude in 313. After a few days, his last message being Metal Gear. Gray Fox is missing in action. Taking the situation seriously, the top men of the West again called for Foxhound. Big Boss selects Solid Snake, who has just recently joined Foxhound as the agent and entrusts everything to him. Which is kind of funny, going from like the best that they have to the new recruit. But anyway, Successfully making a solo infiltration to Outer Heaven, Snake got in touch with local resistance members, Snyder, Diane, and Jennifer. With their cooperation, Snake succeeds in rescuing Gray Fox. Gray Fox then laid out the terrifying facts about Metal Gear. Metal Gear was the development name of a nuclear warhead-equipped two-legged walking tank. It can walk through even the toughest terrains that would stop normal tanks. It can conduct local warfare by itself with unique weapons like its Vulcan cannon and anti-tank missiles. It was indeed a new type of weapon that can conduct a nuclear attack against any place on the face of the earth from any land surface. With Metal Gear, Outer Heaven was trying to establish its military superiority over the entire world. In order to destroy Metal Gear, Snake rescues Metal Gear's chief engineer, Dr. Petrovic, and his daughter Ellen, who was taken hostage for her father to continue with his development. And here's from Dr. Petrovic how to destroy Metal Gear. However, as Snake approaches the heart of Outer Heaven and Metal Gear, well-designed traps are set all around Snake, as if all his actions are being leaked to the enemy. In the midst of escalating battle, the leader of the resistance, Schneider, falls into the hands of the enemy, and Snake himself gets injured through the deadly battles with Outer Heaven's best mercenaries. But Snake's indomitable spirit leads him to the 100th floor basement of the secret base where Metal Gear was developed. Evading the powerful defense system that wipes out all intruders, Snake ultimately succeeds in destroying Metal Gear. Snake tries to escape from Outer Heaven upon completing the mission. However, during the escape, he was confronted by one man, Foxhound Commander-in-Chief, Big Boss. Big Boss laughs at the astonished Snake and tells him of the truth about his mission. While serving as the Commander-in-Chief of Foxhound, Big Boss also ran a mercenary dispatch company utilizing his connections and capital from his years as a merc. He was planning to build this company a larger military establishment, and he built Outer Heaven as its base. His purpose for sending the rookie Snake to Outer Heaven was to cause information confusion amongst the West. However, Big Boss miscalculated. I think that possessive is incorrect. But anyway, however, Big Boss miscalculated. He never thought that Snake would make it this far. Having lost Metal Gear, Big Boss activates the self-destruct system of the underground base. While the countdown to destruction continues, his scream echoes in the emptiness. You have gone too far, too far. The 100th floor basement, the battle between two men commences. On the 100th floor basement. Anyways, free of ideology and politics, the armed fortress nation, Outer Heaven, collapsed. The impenetrable fortress, made from the best military technology and occupied by the toughest mercenaries, burned in flames. Behind him, the flames reached skyward as Outer Heaven fell, leaving Solid Snake all alone. So yeah, that was Metal Gear. A synopsis of Metal Gear. Moving on to Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake. 1999. 4 years later. Oh, this is 19 pages. Ooh. The world was facing an energy crisis. It was obvious that the supply of petroleum would run out faster than expected. However, the development of an alternate energy source is far from completion. The price of petroleum has skyrocketed, and the world economy is in confusion. Of course, 1999. That never really happened. But anyway, that was the fear of the time in the 80s. The 21st century was expected to be one of chaos. One man's invention changed the entire situation. A Czech genius and biologist, Dr. Guilleaume, invented oilix, a microorganism that refines petroleum to produce a highly purified form of petroleum. The world was filled with hope upon the discovery of this messiah to solve the energy crisis. But at the same time, the world entered a time of tension regarding this new algae. Just when the whole world's attention was drawn to Orlix and Dr. Marv, he gets abducted by someone and disappears. Nations begin investigations immediately. Put the emphasis in the wrong spot. But anyway, and a name soon appeared. Zanzibar Land. Zanzibar Land was a democratic military regime that suddenly appeared in Central Asia in 1997. It's 2 years after the first game. When their uprising took place, the CIS army formed around Russia sends a supportive unit immediately. Zanzibar Land resists by gathering a band of mercenaries from nations around the world and fortifying most of its land. As a result, the CIS army was repeatedly defeated, and Zanzibar Land declared its independence. Due to the active role mercenaries played, this war was called the Mercenary War, and Zanzibar Land was referred to as an armed fortress nation. A military nation with a group of strong mercenaries surrounded by a tough fortress. The funny thing is, 5 pages into this, and that's all still backstory for the first game. For the second game. That's like set up. That's not the actual game. Anyway. According to the latest information, Zanzibar Land supposedly is armed with nuclear weapons. The whole scenario was crystal clear. By obtaining Orlix, in addition to nuclear weapons, Zanzibar Land was trying to establish its economic and military superiority over the entire world. Concerned about the situation, the United States orders Rory Campbell, Commander-in-Chief of High-Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound, to rescue Dr. Marv. Campbell was a former member of Foxhound. He brought back Solid Snake, the man who single-handedly brought down the armed fortress nation of Outer Heaven 4 years ago, and asked him to win back both Dr. Marv and Orlix. I don't know why it's phrased that way. To bring back. Anyway, successfully infiltrating Zanzibar Land, and with the help of CIA agent Hori and others, Snake was able to go deep into the fortress and meet again with Dr. Petrovic, the chief engineer of Metal Gear at Outer Heaven. He too was abducted to Zanzibar Land and was forced to develop another Metal Gear. He tells the surprised Snake of an even more shocking fact. Big Boss. The man Snake had defeated in Outer Heaven turned out to be the general commander of Zanzibar Land. Snake rescues Dr. Petrovic, in cooperation with Natasha, Dr. Marv's guard and former Czech international secret police agent, and then heads for the confinement facility deep in the fortress to save Dr. Marv. When Petrovic and Natasha crossed the narrow suspension bridge over the deep valley, a missile blew the bridge away. Natasha flies into the air because of the explosion. While unable to do anything to save Natasha, Snake starts hearing a well-known voice. "Hey, Snake. We are good buddies. I can let you go. Just leave this place at once. Gray Fox." Snake sees Gray Fox controlling Metal Gear. The best soldier in Foxhound, who, after the fall of Outer Heaven, disappeared as if he followed Big Boss. Losing Natasha in front of his eyes and letting Petrovic being taken away, Snake screams, "Fox! I will not give up!" After a series of deadly battles with mercenaries, Snake finally gets to Dr. Marv's confinement facility. However, when he arrives, he is too late. He sees Dr. Marv's corpse and Petrovic, who could do nothing but just stand there. Petrovic tells Snake that Dr. Marv could not withstand the repeated tortures because of heart problems. Snake then receives an emergency call from Hori. Hori? I don't even know how to pronounce the name. Anyway, the information she supplied was very shocking. Petrovic had been voluntarily visiting Zanzibar land to develop Metal Gear. The abduction of Dr. Marv was conducted under the directions of Petrovic himself. After the truth comes out, Petrovic attacks Snake, but Snake easily puts an end to him and obtains the structural plan of Orlix. While trying to escape, Snake is confronted by Metal Gear again, controlled by Gray Fox. The tremendous battle takes place in the underground base, and Snake finally succeeds in destroying Metal Gear. However, Gray Fox does not submit and challenges Snake to the final battle. In the midst of a minefield, Snake and Fox fight without any weapons. A fist-to-fist duel involving no hatred, no murder intent. During that weird moment of purity, the two are bound in forces transcending words and emotion. Snake wins the tough but pure battle against Gray Fox. However, there was still someone else Snake had to fight. Big Boss. Just like 4 years ago. At Outer Heaven, Big Boss was waiting for Snake. One who has experienced the tension of battle can never leave the battlefield. I am the one giving you something to live for, and that is war. Snake is infuriated at the arrogant Big Boss. There is only one battle I have to fight. To free myself from you. To shatter the nightmare, Big Boss. I will kill you. With the structural plan of Orlix, Snake and Hori escapes from Zanzibar land on the rescue helicopter. Snake once again saves the world. However, there is no smile on his face. Big Boss's last words keep ringing in Snake's head. Whichever wins, our battle does not end. The loser is freed from the battlefield, but the winner must remain there, and the survivor must live his life as a warrior until he dies. Snake then disappears into the white lands of Alaska alone. Huh. It seems to be missing one bit. It does, because I do remember him reading that. Oh well, I don't know. There's still one bit that seems to be missing from there, but yeah. Then there's this. You might be interested in this. Mission briefing.
It's been a long time, Snake.
I should have known you were behind this, Colonel.
That's no way to greet an old war buddy, Snake.
What do you want from me?
I just invited you here so we could have a talk.
Invited? That's what you call sending armed soldiers after me?
Sorry if they were a little rough with you. But we've got a serious situation here. Only you can get us out of it.
I'm retired from Foxhound. You're not my commander anymore, and I don't have to take orders from you or anyone else.
You will take these orders. I know it.
Excuse me.
Who's this?
Dr. Naomi Hunter. She's chief of Foxhound's medical staff, and an expert in gene therapy.
Are you military?
No, civilian. I've been sent here from ATGC. Pleasure to meet you, Snake. Don't worry, this injection won't hurt a bit.
What's the shot for?
What's wrong? You don't like shots?
Snake, listen up. It all went down 5 hours ago. Heavily armed soldiers occupied Shadow Moses Island, a remote island off the coast of Alaska.
What soldiers?
Next Generation Special Forces, led by members of Unit Foxhound. They've presented Washington with a single demand, and they say that if it isn't met, they'll launch a nuclear weapon.
A nuclear weapon?
I'm afraid so. You see, the island is the site of a secret nuclear weapons disposal facility.
Foxhound hijacking a nuclear weapon?
Now you understand how serious the situation is. You'll have 2 mission objectives. First, you're to rescue the DARPA chief, Donald Anderson, and the president of Arms Tech, Kenneth Baker. They're both being held as hostages.
Those are some heavy-duty hostages.
Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to launch a nuclear strike, and stop them if they do. Any questions, Snake?
Questions? I haven't even said whether I'd accept this mission.
Well, you can make up your mind after you hear more about the situation.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go over these. This might just be the whole video. I'm not gonna lie. Whole video just been briefing. I was just gonna say, hey, just if you don't want to listen to all this, just go through and just go through until I start playing the gameplay and all that. But honestly, this might just be the first video, and then the second video will be like, this will be like episode 0, and then the next video will be actual episode 1. I'll probably upload both relatively the same time, so that way it's like, yeah, anyway, if you can skip it if you want, but anyway. Oh, wait.
Colonel, I don't work for the government anymore. Let me go back to Twin Lakes.
Why, Snake? Is your life in Alaska all that great?
There's a dog sled race this week. Next Saturday, I have to be in Anchorage.
The Iditarod? The longest sled race in the world? When did you become a dog musher?
Right now, my 50 huskies are my only family. I've got to take care of them.
Don't worry about your dogs.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, Snake, but this vessel is headed for the Bering Sea. There's no room for debate.
I told you, even if I do owe you, I don't owe anything to this army or this country.
You will accept this assignment.
Why should I be stupid enough to do that? I'm no patriot.
Snake, There's enough dirt in your file from your days as an agent to keep you in the stockade until you're a very old man.
Oh, I see. Blackmail.
No, Snake. I prefer to look at it as helping you come to a decision more easily. But anyway, I know you better than that. You'd take this assignment even without the threat.
Why do you say that?
You're a natural-born soldier. You're not the grow old gracefully type. It's the same for all of us who've seen real action. The only place we can feel truly alive is on the battlefield. I'm a soldier too. I know those feelings of powerlessness, frustration that you feel every day. You've tried to play the Boy Scout out there in Alaska, but you can't race dogs in the snow forever. Why don't you come back to us and be a soldier again?
You think my life is some kind of a joke?
Snake, I just want to give you back your purpose in life.
Oh. That's when I was exiting. That's where it played when I exited. But I can't select anything. That's oh, I have to go over there, of course.
Tell me about the nuclear weapon disposal facility.
The disposal facility includes a hardened underground base. Even with our most advanced intelligence gathering equipment, we can't tell what's happening inside.
So someone needs to penetrate, gather intelligence, and report back. Sounds like a spy movie. What's the insertion method?
Well, an air insertion is impossible.
Not with this storm going on.
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
Approach?
Yes, within a few miles of it. The facility is equipped with sonar detection capabilities. They'd be able to hear our engine or propeller noise.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV.
Launch?
Same as a torpedo, only this has no propulsion device of its own. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim.
You want me to swim in sub-zero Alaskan water?
Don't worry. That suit represents the latest advances in polythermal technology. The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As usual, this is a one-man infiltration mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP?
Yes. This is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
What's the time limit?
24 hours. They say they'll launch after 24 hours.
Do they say what the target will be?
So far, they haven't mentioned the target.
When did the countdown start?
5 hours ago.
Colonel, who are you speaking for?
Naturally, I'm representing the U.S. government.
So who's in supervisory control of this operation?
The President of the United States.
Which means that the President must be meeting with his top aides in the map room about now, huh?
No, at this point they're still video conferencing with each other.
If that's a real nuclear warhead, shouldn't they issue a COG?
Not yet. The Secretary of Defense has operational control and is fully aware of the situation. After you infiltrate, if you determine they possess nuclear launch capabilities, a COG will be issued.
Well, if they haven't relocated to the nuclear shelter under Mount Washington, I suppose there isn't that much reason to worry yet. Is the National Security Agency in on this?
Yes. So is the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency.
The DIA? I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this.
They'll be sending us some support.
We don't need desk jockeys. We need a nuclear weapons specialist.
Of course. A nuclear weapons specialist has already been assigned to us.
We need backup from a specialist. I'm just an amateur when it comes to nuclear weapons.
I know. That's why I've requested the assistance of a military analyst named Nastasha Romanenko. She'll be providing you backup by Kodak.
A female analyst?
She's built up an impressive record as an advisor for the Nuclear Emergency Search Team. Contact her if you have any questions. She's also an expert on high-tech weapons.
Where's she working from?
At her home in Los Angeles.
California. Seems like 1,000,000 miles away. Colonel, you're retired. Why are you involved in this?
Because there aren't many people who know Foxhound as well as I do.
Is that really the only reason?
I've been soldiering for a long time. I don't know anything else. I guess even though I'm getting a little old, I still love to be in the field.
Colonel, you're a lousy liar. Tell me the real reason.
Okay, Snake. Sorry. I'll be frank. A person very dear to me is being held hostage.
Who is it?
My niece, Meryl.
What was your niece doing here?
Several soldiers were reported missing the day of the revolt. And my niece was one of those called in as an emergency replacement.
She looks like you.
She's my little brother's girl. He died in the Gulf War. Since then, I've been watching after her.
A personal motive, Colonel. That's not very soldierly.
I'm retired. I'm just an old man now. And I'm your friend.
Since when are we friends?
I've thought of us as friends since the fall of Zanzibar.
With my personality, I don't have too many friends.
That's what I trust about you. It's what makes you human. Please, Snake. Save my niece, Meryl.
All right. But I have 2 conditions.
Name them.
1, no more secrets between us. I want complete disclosure at all times. And 2, I'll only accept orders directly from you, Colonel. No cutoffs involved, okay?
Agreed. That's why I was called. But one thing.
What?
I'm not a colonel anymore. Just a retired old warhorse.
I understand, Colonel. That doctor, is she part of this operation too?
She was in charge of Foxhound's gene therapy. She knows more about those men than anyone else.
You mean you've seen them naked?
Make no mistake, I'm not a nurse. I'm a scientist.
By the way, what was that injection for?
It's a combination of nanomachines and an anti-freezing peptide so that your blood and other bodily fluids don't freeze, even at subarctic temperatures.
Nanomachines?
Not just one kind, either. There are different types which will replenish the supply of adrenaline, nutrition, and sugar in your bloodstream.
Now I don't have to worry about food.
I also put some nootropics in there.
Say what?
Nootropics. A class of drugs which will help improve your mental functioning.
It'll make me smarter, huh? Anything else?
Yes. Benzedrine. It's a type of stimulant. It'll keep you alert and responsive for 12 straight hours.
That was quite a cocktail. Anything else in there?
Those nanomachines will also keep your Codex batteries charged up.
I guess I can call you when I'm ready to go on a diet.
You're welcome.
The chief of DARPA and the president of an arms manufacturing company. What business did they have at a nuclear weapons disposal facility?
The truth is that secret exercises were being conducted at the time the terrorist group attacked.
Must be extremely important exercises if those 2 were directly involved. Were they testing some kind of new advanced weapon?
I'm not privy to that information.
Do we know exactly where they're being held?
The DARPA chief has also been injected with a mini-transmitter. As you get closer, you should be able to pick up his location on your radar.
Do they really have the ability to launch a nuclear missile?
They say they do. They even gave us the serial number of the warhead they plan to use.
Was the number confirmed?
I'm afraid so. At the very least, they've got their hands on a real nuclear warhead.
Isn't there some kind of safety device to prevent this type of terrorism?
Yes. Every missile and warhead in our arsenal is equipped with a PAL, which uses a discrete detonation code.
PAL?
Permissive Action Link. The safety control system built into all nuclear weapons systems. But even so, we can't rest easy.
Why not?
Because the DARPA chief knows the detonation code.
But even if they have a nuclear warhead, it must have been removed from its missile. All the missiles on these disposal sites are supposed to be dismantled. It's not that easy to get your hands on an ICBM.
That used to be true. But since the end of the Cold War, you can get anything if you have enough money and the right connections.
How well armed are these terrorists? I know there was an exercise going on at the time they revolted.
They're heavily armed, I'm afraid.
What about their battle experience?
The 6 members of Foxhound in charge are all hardened veterans. They're tough enough to eat nails and ask for seconds.
I wouldn't expect anything less from Foxhound.
The others are next-generation special forces. They're not your average grunts either.
So what exactly are they demanding?
A person's remains.
Remains?
That's right. To be more accurate, cell specimens which contain the individual's genomic information.
Cell specimens? Why would they want that?
The terrorists need them. You see, these next-generation special forces have been strengthened through gene therapy.
Strengthened?
You've heard of the Human Genome Project. They've been mapping the human genome, and they're nearly finished. Following up on this research, the military has been working towards identifying those genes which are responsible for making effective soldiers.
There are genes that do that?
Yes. And using gene therapy, they're able to transplant those genes into regular soldiers.
Gene therapy?
I'll explain this part. With gene therapy, we can remove those genes which we know may lead to sickness or disease, and at the same time splice in genes with beneficial effects, such as resistance to cancer, for example.
In other words, we can overcome all sorts of genetic diseases, and at the same time add genetic characteristics as desired.
Okay. And so if you knew what genes were responsible for making the perfect soldier, you could implant them in the same way, right?
Yes, we could.
But it all depends on being able to isolate and identify those soldier genes.
And in order to do that, it's helpful if you can study the genomic information of one of the greatest soldiers ever.
One of the greatest soldiers ever?
The man they call the greatest warrior of the 20th century.
You don't mean Big Boss.
That's right. We've been working feverishly to identify the genes responsible for his incredible combat skill. So far, we've discovered about 60 of the so-called soldier genes.
So his body was recovered after all.
Yes, and his cells have remained frozen in a cryo chamber. His genomic information is a priceless treasure to mankind.
Priceless to the military, perhaps.
His body was burned severely, but it was possible to restore his DNA profile from just a single strand of his hair.
You people are amazing. And then you're gonna transplant those genes into soldiers?
Yes. We'll use a process that I discovered called gene targeting. The strongest soldiers don't become what they are by acquiring their skills through training or experience. We now know that hereditary factors are far more crucial for creating superior soldiers.
Snake, we can't give them his body. It's potentially more dangerous than all the nuclear warheads on that island put together.
I hear the terrorists are calling themselves the Sons of Big Boss.
The Sons of Big Boss? Tell me about these next-generation special forces.
They started out as an anti-terrorist special ops unit, made up of former members of biochem units, technical escort units, and the nuclear emergency surge team. Their purpose was to respond to threats involving next-generation weapons of mass destruction, including NBC weapons.
Until they were added, that is.
Who's they?
These guys didn't start out as regular army.
Looks like a pretty international group. Mercenaries?
Yeah, and it gets worse. Most of them were from a merc agency that I think you're familiar with. They were part of Big Boss's private guard. And after Big Boss went down, the military just bought out all their contracts.
Outer Heaven.
After that, they were merged with our own VR unit, Force 21, and retrained. If you ask me, these so-called next-generation special forces should be called simulated soldiers. They have no real battle experience.
Video game players, huh?
Don't forget they've all been strengthened with gene therapy. They carry genes which make them excellent soldiers. Don't get careless just because they don't have much experience.
I thought using genetically modified soldiers was prohibited by international law.
Yes, but those are just declarations, not actual treaties.
The interesting thing is that nearly every member of the unit conspired in this attack.
How could an entire unit be subverted to rebellion?
They're calling it a revolution.
Since they all went through the same gene therapy, they probably felt closer than brothers. They see the unit as their only family.
The Sons of Big Boss. But if they were regular army, they must have been interviewed periodically by army counselors.
According to their files, they all got straight A's on their psychological tests. They all seemed like fine, upstanding, patriotic soldiers.
But they all took part in the uprising?
No. Several people didn't show up on the day of the exercise. That's why there was a resupply of troops.
Was there any sign recently that something might be wrong?
There was a report a month ago that they were acting strangely.
Apparently they consulted classified information about the soldier genes and performed their own gene therapy experiments.
They can do that even without you?
Well, our gene therapy process is almost completely automated. And besides that, they're all geniuses with IQs over 180.
Even the existence of this genome army is a national secret of the highest order. We've been hoping to investigate this thing quietly and deal with it behind closed doors.
Oh man, whenever someone refers to someone as a genius, oh, they're all geniuses. They always go high. They always aim high with that IQ. I think Einstein had an IQ of 180, something like that. And it's like, oh, a genius with an IQ of 180. It's like, that's extremely rare. I mean, genius is 140. Yeah, anyway.
High-Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound. Your former unit, and one that I was a commander of. An elite group combining firepower and expertise. They're every bit as good as when I was commanding them.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mantis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter.
Looks like a lovely bunch of folks. Too bad we'll be meeting under these circumstances.
And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound's squad leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake?
Yes. And you're the only person who can stand against him.
Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake. The man with the same code name as you.
Tell me what you know.
He fought in the Gulf War as a teenager, the youngest person in the SAS. His job was to track down and destroy mobile Scud missile launching platforms. You were there too, I believe. Didn't you infiltrate Western Iraq with a platoon of Green Berets?
I was just a kid myself back then.
The details are classified, but it seems that originally he penetrated the Middle East as a sleeper for the SIS.
He was a spy for the British Secret Intelligence Service?
But he never once showed his face in Century House. He was taken prisoner in Iraq, and after that there was no trace of him for several years. After you retired, he was rescued and became a member of Foxhound.
I thought that by the time I left, they were no longer using code names.
I don't know his real name. That information is so highly classified that even I can't look at it. Here's a photo of him. Pretty shocking, huh? His skin tone is different, but otherwise you two are exact duplicates.
I have a twin?
I don't know the details, but it seems so. That's why we really need you for this mission.
You're the only one who can beat him. Now that I've met you, I know. You've got something that he doesn't. I can see it in your eyes.
Why don't I find that thought more comforting? I need to borrow your scissors.
What are you going to do?
Don't worry, just gonna clean myself up a little.
Huh?
I don't want to be mistaken for the leader of the terrorists.
And that is all the mission briefings. And yeah, I'm going to leave this video here. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.